Welcome back to another exciting and great episode of the Comic Stand with me and Spider-Man here. In case you didn't know from our last video, this is Spider-Man's Time to Shine. This is another video about a movie about your greatest villain, and I'll take it over because I don't think Spider-Man wants to talk about this. But in this video, I'll be definitely giving you guys a lot of tips and a lot of different things, and basically this is how a Venom movie can work. With the confirmation of the Venom movie, I took it upon myself to make a list of how it can work. And I hope you guys like it, and let's just get right into it. All the character development and intros, hopefully in The Amazing Spider-Man, like I mentioned in the other video, would have led us to this moment and this movie. Basically, like, self-explanatory. All the origins, everything about Eddie Brock is explained, and now in this movie it's just straight Eddie Brock is Venom. Basically, like 2 hours of awesomeness in a movie. We don't have to worry about anything that's just straight action and adrenaline pumping action and him beating the crap out of Spider-Man. No offense. I love you so much. It's going to be hard for him to hear this. No need to go into further detail about who Eddie Brock is. Like I said, if we are going to use something, we can use his time in journalism school and his rise and fall due to Spider-Man. If there has to be some kind of stuff for that, then I say let it be for that instead of having to worry about anything else. And his workout montage, how he basically got huge, and how he let his huge hatred of Spider-Man fuel him while he was working out. Kind of like a Chris Redfield and Wesker thing, if you think about it. His hatred of Spider-Man has pointed him towards the end, and now we get his montage of hatred towards our web slinger, and it's really bad because he had some really bad issues with the good old Spider. And that should be shown in the movie. Basically, whoever plays him should be basically in that stage of being driven insane and being really angsty and angry. And I really just want to see a talented actor pull that off. The end of Amazing Spider-Man 3 or the Sinister Six movie, whichever this is going to be, would have had Peter separated from the symbiote, and Eddie finds it in the church, like originally, or finds it wherever, and it slowly bonds and merges with him. And that's how him and the symbiote bond over their mutual hatred of Peter Parker. And that's how we get ourselves Venom and the symbiote. He first receives the symbiote and begins to slowly terrorize New York to study Spider-Man and get his attention to see how he operates. I feel like he shouldn't just go for the kill right away. He never did that. He already knew the symbiote basically fed him all the information he needed to know, but he didn't just want to go off all the way. He needed to learn some stuff. He needed to know Spider-Man's, physical strengths and weaknesses. And he needed to know all of that. He then takes a small fight towards him. Remember the controversial him pushing him onto the train tracks? Because of the symbiote, since Peter had it first, it blocks out his spider sense. So he never saw it coming. Just imagine a brawlic dude pushing Andrew Garfield on the train tracks just because he can. And just, I feel like that scene will be really good for just the introduction of, you can't sense me, so therefore, you cannot stop me. Your spider sense won't work, you'll never see me coming, and therefore, I can be anywhere, and you'll never notice, until it's too late. Peter wonders how this can happen and does his little scientific research, and we have, him wondering how can he do this, and then he learns more about the symbiote through that. Because I'm pretty sure Oscorp had some data on him when he had it on, so pretty sure he can dig deep and find some more stuff on that. After the church scene or wherever Eddie Brock gets the symbiote, they can show his first kill as Venom, and that can basically be his final breaking point into madness, and he can just have the bloodlust up until then. And then for the whole movie, he can just basically have a bloodlust for Peter Parker, anybody else that stands in his way, to get Spider-Man to go help them. Venom will spend most of the movie messing with Spider-Man's loved ones, and knowing who he is, he already knows his Aunt May and Gwen Stacy, and maybe, if it ever happens, Mary Jane. They'll be friends of sorts, so he'll be like, hey, I'm going to mess with your friend, or, since he's dating Gwen Stacy, he can try and say, hey, we should go on a double date, and won't that be awful? An Eddie Brock, Mary Jane double date with Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man. Wouldn't that be something awful? But that is the perfect way to mess with somebody. Eddie can play a role of the demented best friend, since he's insane and over the edge regardless, claiming that he and the symbiote know everything about him. So it's like, we know everything about you. Why can't we work together? Why can't we be friends? And then it's like, you're crazy and you're killing people. So that could be another emotional part for the movie. I would hope that they would show Black Cat somehow in this movie franchise, but I'm hoping she would be in this movie maybe as a little help to him. I mean, Venom beats the crap out of her, but you know, I would love to see Black Cat somewhere in the movies. Hopefully maybe in this one, but I'm just hoping against hope that that'll happen. Spider-Man learns more about himself in this movie, and he utilizes not only his intelligence in battle, and he shouldn't only rely on his powers, and that's where the psychological warfare comes in. Because if we know Spider-Man, Spider-Man can talk his way out of anything. If anyone read AVX, you know Spider-Man was the only character to defeat 2 Phoenix 5 people simultaneously by himself. He made them turn against each other. He used sibling rivalry against them. So why not have him discover that he can do all that awesome stuff in this movie against Venom and against the symbiote? Anybody else want to see Venom dangle Andrew Garfield off of a building with his mask off like in the cartoon and make a public debacle of our costume hero, only, and here's the twist here, to have Eddie Brock have taken pictures of it and give it to the Daily Bugle? Since I'm pretty sure Peter would already have had the job by now. So just imagine you fired Eddie Brock because of whatever. He comes back with better pictures of the fight scene between him and Spider-Man, because that's what Spider-Man does. Maybe Venom would know that too, and he's going to attack all aspects of his life. And that's what Venom represents, and that's what he needs to represent in this movie, is that he is a threat not only to Spider-Man, but to Peter Parker and his whole means of existence, in and out of costume. And I would love to see that, because personally that is one of the things I love about Venom. Is that he's not just a villain, he's a villain controlled by something that is a lot more bigger than you. It's something that knows him. Something that knows him and his family, knows what makes him tick. And that needs to be represented very carefully and very dark in this movie. Can't beat Venom the same way twice. Spider-Man would have tried to use the sonic generators or really loud noises, but it merged with him so perfectly that that kind of stuff's not going to work. So we're going to have to definitely think outside the box here. And that's something else I want to see, is how can you defeat an enemy that you thought you could defeat so easily, and now you have to actually think more on how to stop him. The sheer drama of trying to beat somebody, like I said, of who knows your tricks, can easily be implemented into this movie. And it's something that needs to be shown, that not only does the hero not always win until the end, but it gives you the strength to try and find out who you are. And how can you defeat somebody until you really think about it. And I want to see that. I want to see that portrayed in this. The final battle, without a doubt, should be epic. It should be like hard-hitting, final time, one of us might die, I'll beat the crap out of you, and all this stuff, until he takes what he's learned and uses that to his advantage and finally puts him down. But not without serious injuries. Like, I'm talking about like battered and beaten and like on the verge, this close to dying. I mean, like this small margin, the smallest margin I could make of dying. That's how I want to see that fight scene portrayed by them, because that's what I expect. I expect nothing less from Venom, and I wouldn't want to do that now. Now, talking about the post-credit scene, the ending, a post-credit scene, which would be epic, mind you, is Eddie Brock goes to prison, like normally planned. He's beaten, he's upset with himself, until his roommate, his new cellmate, comes in, hopefully played by Jim Carrey, as he introduces himself as Cletus Cassidy. Black screen, Carnage reference, Venom 2, Spider-Man versus Venom and Carnage. I'm dropping my mic on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I had so much fun making this. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up for me and Spider-Man here. For Spider-Man listening to me talk about him in all these really wrong senses. He's got a sad face, don't worry. I'll make it better for him. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to catch you guys next week for more of The Comic Stand. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And always remember to geek out and enjoy your lives.